We all make choices. But in the end, our choices make us.
So choose wisely.
Subscribe to It's Erik Nagel wherever podcasts are found. And leave a positive review, won't you kindly?
My feet still hurt from Comic-Con, though. I wake up in the morning and it takes me a good minute or two before I can walk normal. No, like actual severe pains in my feet. Like if there was a fire and I had to get up, I might not make it out of my building because my feet hurt that bad in the morning.
You come wobbling out. Someone's sitting on the toilet.
Yeah, I feel like I've been sitting on the toilet for 3 hours reading memes and I forgot I was on a toilet and I stood. I'm like, oh, my back and my feet.
Were you sitting on the toilet reading memes?
Yeah, I was.
It's Erik Nagel. It starts now.
What up, my Nagel? 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 Talking about George R.R. Martin, not writing. Talking Marvel versus DC, who's more exciting? Talking George Lucas's legacy, high-scoring centipede. Talking Gittles' new beef burrito recipe. Talking about Stephanie McMahon versus Sable. Talking about the Cybermen versus the Weeping Angels. Don't blink, the dialect's more deadly than you think. Talking summer ale, blueberry pale, craft beer, pouring drinks. What up, my Nagel? Deadpool 2 features Cable. Talking Funko Pop, celebrity signed a label. Talking online gaming, bitching and complaining. Talking E-Rock, kissing the feet of Matt Groening. Warner Brothers properties, Superman's a mockery. Weird Al concerts, Kevin Smith's debauchery. Rick and Morty fun zone. The Lego build team, can I have your attention? Possible Donkey Kong kill screen. What up, my Nagel? What up, my Nagel? What up, my Nagel? What up, my Nagel?
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear.
It's Erik Nagel.
Hello and welcome to another edition of It's Erik Nagel. That is me. It's been a while since we've all been together outside of the New York Comic-Con shows to do the regular show. But alas, here we are. Over in the Upside Down is Gittles.
What up, buddy?
And our producer, Trevs and Devs, the Treverand.
Hooray.
And 651 Smithers is the phone number, 651-764-8437 if you want to call and talk to us here on the program. We're going to get into all our New York Comic-Con stuff, discussions and thoughts about everything that we did. All the shows are up and available online. You can download 2 different shows from this year's New York Comic-Con. The interviews are up solo, and the shows are up on YouTube as well. So if you like to listen to the show through that medium, you can go there. iHeart, wherever you find podcasts, all that fun stuff. Before we get into New York Comic-Con, we do have a bit of an announcement here. So after New York Comic-Con, it was a grueling 4 days on all of us, and we were all recovering.
As it is every year.
Yes, we were all recovering. Some get sick, some are just run down. Weird things happen. And after a couple of days, we heard from Matt OG, who is not here with us right now. And Matt, I thought, was just going to be, tell me like he always does after a con that he's sick. And lo and behold, yes, he was. But there was more to the email. And then we talked on the phone for a tiny bit. So Matt hasn't been on the show as much as he used to be in the last couple of months. Matt has some things at home that he's dealing with. Nothing bad, just, a lot to handle. One of the things being he has a son, and his son is at that age where they do a million activities, so he's taking care of that, has some family stuff. He has a day job, plus he has commitments with the first show that he is on with Geek Stuff, and it just got to the point where Matt is kind of run ragged. He's worn out, and he just can't commit to everything that he has to do right now. So he talked with us, and per his request, and we are going to honor that Matt wanted to take a step back from his co-hosting duties here on the program and kind of demote himself, if you will, to the status of an occasional guest for the time being. Now, we don't know going forward if that's going to be a permanent solution or whatever Matt wants to do. He's certainly welcome back at any time. We look forward to his next appearance on the show here, but for the time being now, he's just not going to be hosting the program with us while he deals with other things. look, I'm not going to lie if I said I wasn't disappointed or bummed out by it, but I understand it. Believe me, he's got so much more going on in his life than the three of us do. And I totally understand it. It's not an unreasonable request. And I love Matt. And I can't wait for Matt to come back again and update us on what he's been doing. But for the time being, we got to do what we got to do, and he's got to do what he has to do. And I'm fine with it. Giddles, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. Like, I talk to Matt all the time. We talk and we text every day. And I totally understand, like he's super busy. It's really hard to find the time for all your projects while raising a son and going into like the holiday season, and everything is just crazy right now. Right. And it's just life. And, sometimes things like this happen. But the thing is, he's not totally gone. Like he said, he's just demoting himself. He'll still come back to do little like part-time segments here and there whenever he can, whenever he has the time. And that's what Matt needs to do. That's what Matt needs to do. And I'm totally cool with it. And just knowing that he will come back for part-time segments makes me happy, because I love Matt, and it'll be good when he comes back.
I echo those sentiments exactly. We all love Matt here. Trevor, you don't love Matt, so please explain your position.
I mean, I'm just going to miss the way that the light used to beam off his head when we sat next to each other in the studio.
That's not a compliment.
That's not
a compliment.
No, you wear sunglasses?
The whole time. You guys, I've been with you guys since January, now February, kind of like on a full-time basis, hanging out with you guys. And Matt, from the beginning, always made me feel right at home. Hung out and talked to me when Erik was upstairs, getting ready to do the show half the time, because we just like walk into the studio. It sucks. I had fun hanging out with him at the con and always hanging out with him. But the fact that, he's not dead. I mean, I'm going to miss talking to him every week, like on the show, but he'll be back. So
can that be that? Maybe that's a show title. Well, he's not dead.
That's a pretty good one.
Hey man, no one gets the idea that life gets in the way of doing the things you want to do more than me right now, because I'm juggling 8 different jobs, as it is all of us trying to still do this show. So, I get it, and he's got to take a step back, and I can't wait to see the light off his head again.
So if you want to send some love Matt's way, it's Geek Stuff OG on Twitter and Instagram. Give him a follow and just say, we want you to come back to the show soon, like next week. Okay?
Great. Let's keep pressuring him.
Yes, please do. Flood his social media and saying you need to come back on the show. And then ask for Giddles.
Yeah.
Now we're just stuck with Trevor. Yeah, you got to come back.
I would like to say thank you to everybody also, because there was a record number of people asking for Giddles this year.
I know.
There was actually a security guard, and I wasn't there to witness this, but there was a security guard, one of the guys with the fucking dog, like the big like German Shepherd.
Right.
And Matt's going through the booth on the first day, and the guy comes up to him and taps him on the shoulder. He's like, "Hey, Matt." And Matt goes, "What?" And he goes, "Fuck Giddles." And I was like, "What? That's a crazy shit story." Like, and I went through that guy, and he didn't even recognize me, and I felt really bad because he just hates me. He has no idea what I look like.
And that's unusual, because most people love Giddles more than everybody else, even if they don't know who Giddles is or what he looks like.
Yeah, I don't know who these people are, but they're out there.
From the con, one of the best things for me is when a fan came up to me and said, "Reverend T." I was like, "Oh my God, you know this. Thank you."
That's great.
I was so happy, and then I got to take a picture with him, and then I blessed him, and he was so happy.
Did you marry him?
No, he came up by himself, but I was like, "Thank you, my child."
Do the cross and say, "I pity your soul."
I said, "I pity the fool."
No, I was like, "Go in peace,
two
my
Bloody
child."
Marys, and I'll talk to you later.
Speaking of people that love Giddles, so as I was on my way to the studio, I was texting with one of the engineers who set up the studio. And they wrote and they said, "Are you doing the show here tonight?" "Yes, just me," as I reply. And he writes, "No Trevor or Giggles?" And I just respond with laughing, right?
Yep.
And then he wrote, in an attempt to correct it, he wrote, "Gutters, like Skittles. Giggles," a bunch of exclamation points. Giddles. And I'm laughing again. And he wrote, "So annoying." And I said, "Who is? Giddles?" And he just wrote, "Autocorrect."
It's true though. It's like trying to type in shit and text it to someone and it changes it to shut. Like I have the same thing. It's like if you try and say Gittles, it's like Skittles. You probably meant a name brand product, not this knockoff quality bullshit.
I can't wait till it runs out of alternatives and then just resides on Bubbles.
Ugh, whatever. It's just gonna be shittles.
So New York Comic Con has come and went. Like I said, the shows are available on the iHeart app, anywhere you find shows. On YouTube, you can find all the shows, find all the interviews. A good time was had by all, I hope. Let's do a quick recap of of our events there. What were some of your favorite things, worst things? What were some of the unique things that you saw? Gittles, we'll go with you.
So honestly, I feel like the con this year was a little lackluster. I'm gonna say it. I feel like there was not a lot of interactive events. Because in the previous years, we go there and they'd be like, oh, here's the VR section, and here's this section, and here's like this, where you get to like walk through the set of this, and here's like this whole interactive thing. And now it was just
the Marvel stage.
It was like the Marvel stage, and they had a couple of things outside, but it was just straightforward. Here's a flyer for our show. Here's a cabin we made look like something from American Gods. Come on in. But you're like, all they're giving you is a flyer for the show. So it wasn't really as fun interactive. I guess maybe if you're into those shows, that's cool for you. But to me, I was like kind of like, meh. I thought the cosplay was pretty on point this year. The Funko economy is crazier than ever.
Yeah.
But honestly, the coolest thing I saw, and this is going to sound really stupid, but it was a cell phone. And I was there. And Trevor was there with me because I went and grabbed Trevor. I was like, yo, you got to come back and sit through this thing I just sat through. It's like a minute and a half, but it's worth it. So
what was it?
It was for a cell phone. So there's a company out there. It's called Red.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Red Digital Cinema makes these digital cinema cameras that you can shoot basically, film quality productions on it. And it's a little modular thing. It's like a little square. You have different lenses, and you can shoot all kinds of like frame rates and anything crazy on it, like the way you could with normal film, but it's digital. And the cell phone is it's like a 6K cell phone. It's got a 3D screen that you don't need goggles for. So when you look at it, everything is 3D, which was kind of crazy. And it's going to be a modular phone where you can attach lenses to it, attach hard drives to it, so you can like record on this thing and like film things. And it had this like quadraphonic sound system. So when you put on the headphones, it was just fucking bonkers. And they're like, it doesn't matter what headphones you use because the technology comes from inside the phone and not the headphones you use. So I don't know. It's pretty cool.
It was interesting because they were like, if you have the $200 Bose or Beats, or if you just have the regular like 99-cent headphones you got from Five and Below, the phone recognizes this. Yeah, phone recognizes the.
Ooh,
signal.
Mr. I shop at Five and Below. He's too good for us Dollar General people.
Yeah, seriously, you're 5 times my budget, motherfucker.
I'm sorry.
Oh, look who's buying the enlarged Tootsie Roll.
Ugh.
Continue.
It's a 33-cent store. I paid almost double that.
It recognizes the signal, and the phone is actually smart enough to do whatever it can do to make those headphones sound like the $200 pair, or even take the $200 pair and make them sound even better. Recognizes the frequency somehow.
It recognizes.
And so I'm still freaked out, like the fact that I was watching this phone, looking at it, and I didn't have to put on the 3D glasses. Like everything was like just looking at it, 3D, no problem. Like my eyes didn't hurt or anything. Like I walked out of the van where that they put us in to watch this phone, and I just walked out and said, I don't want to live in this world anymore. Nothing seems real, because it was such good quality on this phone. And it's comes out November 5th on Verizon and AT&T only. And the guy kind of apologized too, because he's like, the phone's going to be expensive. It's going to be around $1,300. And we were a little disappointed in that until we found out the iPhone was going to be $1,100. So we're jumping for joy at this point.
Yeah, like that's not that crazy at that point, especially if you can shoot 6K video on it. Like that's better than any cell phone.
Let me tell you what that
you can stream with that shit.
Let me tell you what that
you could do the whole entire show just off that phone.
Let me tell you what that phone's going to be used for. Somebody's going to tweak it just to do the damn Leia R2D2 hologram, where it'll just go, help me, Obi-Wan, you're my only hope. and then just keep that on there, and they're gonna see $1,300, totally worth it, and they're like, that wasn't the whole intention of releasing this phone.
I don't care. Fuck it. It's worth it to me. Let's do it.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd watch that. Yeah,
that's my nightlight.
Yeah.
Every time Giddles calls me, it's just Leia pops up. Giddles is calling you. He's your only hope.
Anything else from the con floor, Giddles, Trevor?
Nothing else that I really saw. I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie, and like, you know, we've talked about the cons before, but when you go to the same con like 5 years in a row, you just start recognizing people and vendors, and you see the same people, and it feels really weird. Like this, it's like the same dream that you keep coming back to, and you're like, oh yeah, that's that guy from this booth from last year. These are the same shirts they've had for the last 5 years, you know. So I don't know. I think I need to see more events. But the cool thing was when I left the Javits Center, and I would like walk to go find a relatively inexpensive iced coffee somewhere, I would find things outside of the convention that were cool. So like the one time I left and I found this whole like Crunchyroll exhibit thing, and they're like a
oh yeah, the Crunchyroll, for people who don't know, is a sort of like a streaming service, an all-inclusive service for people who are fans of anime.
Yeah. So it was like, I guess it was whoever the head company is who owns Crunchyroll, but they own Crunchyroll, like Rooster Teeth, like Geek and Sundry, and they had this whole booth set up outside, and they gave you all this free stuff, and they had an unlimited sugar cereal bar you could just sit at and eat cereal and watch cartoons, and nobody was there. I was just hanging out, eating cereal. They're like, this is for kids, sir. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm eating Cocoa Puffs. I'm watching whatever this one-man punch show is.
You should have just spoke out of the side of your mouth when they say, this is for kids, sir, and you go, really? No one's here. How's that going for you? And just keep eating cereal.
This is for kids, sir, but quiet, and just spit cereal out of my mouth.
Giddles was watching the Munchie Cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, so soft and cuddly.
But like that was okay, and then we all went to the Johnny Walker White Walker exhibit.
Yes,
and that was like
thank you
to
Johnny Walker for inviting us out. By the way, to that.
Yeah, that was awesome, especially like when we got there and they took care of us, which was really nice.
The one thing it was a pretty cool exhibit. The one thing I was kind of, I guess, personally disappointed was, I don't guess it wasn't any fault of theirs, but White Walkers. I thought they were going to make it like an ice bar. You know, like it was going to be freezing cold when you went in there, and it really wasn't. It looked it had the whole decor, but it wasn't cold. Yeah,
they frosted the windows and then had the heat on. I'm like, this is like, what is happening here? And they're like, well, it's going to be cold in here. I'm like, it's not. This is fake foam on the ground.
And
like,
every day for the con, it was 100% humidity outside, no matter what the temperature was.
Hot.
Yeah. So the Johnny Walker exhibit was great. Giddles had an awesome photo with the ice, the floating ice chunk with the Johnny Walker guy. You never posted that, did you?
Oh, I don't know if I did. I have to check.
If you did, post it on Giddle Base. We'll repost it on the Instagrams and stuff for everybody to see. Trevor walked out of there with several bottles of the White Walker Johnny Walker limited edition. What did you think of the? I know you had a sample there, but you took it home, and I'm guessing you were enjoying many a beverage. What are your thoughts on the Johnny Walker White Walker?
They're gone.
Okay. Wow.
That's his thoughts.
It's been a week.
He drank a liter of scotch in a week. So I have some thoughts on that.
He readjusted that old beer helmet and just strapped him on.
Oh, it's like he's got like a jetpack, like the Rocketeer.
God, the Rocketeer. That's a good stick.
There was a guy cosplaying as Rocketeer at Comic-Con this year.
Oh, I missed it. Well, I'll start with Johnny Walker first. I'm not a huge Scotch blended whiskey guy, but I really enjoyed the White Walker. Like, of course, the Johnny Walker Blue, like their $250 bottle, of course, is like amazing.
Right.
And you can't not try it. But the White Walker was definitely, it went down really smooth. I liked it better than the red and the black. So right away I knew I had to, after the tasting we had to get a couple bottles of that. Went down really smooth. It was chilled behind the bar, so maybe that's the whole thing that you have to go for, is you have to have a cold version of it to really get going. But
I like, as we were going to leave, when you go through the whole presentation, you take photos and see everything. On the way out, there's people there, like a lot of places in New York and maybe major cities, where if you're on a restaurant, like during the lunch hours, there's people with iPads. They come over and they take your order and it sends it over to the register. So by the time you get there, your order's done and you can just pay and leave. So they have some nice people walking around with the iPads. Are you interested in purchasing the whiskey? And Trevor just goes, what's the maximum amount I'm allowed to buy?
Yeah.
How many bottles am I allowed?
They're like one per person, and I'm like, well, me and Eric count as 2 people, so that's 3 bottles you can get.
It's like, what if we all get bottles, but he pays for it? Is that cool? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. So Trevor just walked out with plethora of Johnny Walker, White Walker bottles.
Yeah, and it's like walking past people on the sidewalk, like, haha, you can't get in. We got 3.
And then conveniently, we had other interviews to do back at the Javits Center. So as Giddles and I are getting in the cab, Trevor goes, "I'm going home," and runs away with his bottles.
Yeah, he's like, my work here is done.
Comic-Con was over for him.
I am, and he just left.
I had 3 bottles. Well, I've never seen Eric jumped in the middle of the road for traffic to grab a cab, and I was trying to stuff the bottles in my backpack so I didn't look like a crazy bag person carrying whiskey down the street. But
nothing.
You
doesn't
like
matter.
A crazy Scotch person trying to shove it all into your backpack to get out of there.
Yeah, well, because I was, to be honest with you, like you said, the Funko economy is crazy out there with people yelling, "What kind of Funkos did you get?" Did you see that line for people who wanted to get into Johnny Walker? I thought they were going to tackle me once they saw that I walked out like FAL Schwartz with giant bags of scotch.
Oh my God, those door guys were fucking like hard asses for no reason. Like
they were telling the publicists,
it's like an exhibit. They're like back off, like get in my face. I'm like, dude, it's not even a bar. Like get the fuck out of here.
They rented an abandoned not abandoned, but they rented an empty workspace and just converted it temporarily for this event. They were giving the publicists who were overseeing the event a hard time.
Yeah. I was like,
and like it's kind of their event, and they're paying you to be here. So, vamos.
Even when the publicist came out to get us, like she told us to wait there, and the guy's like, I told these guys they can't come in. She's like, yeah, but I can because I'm the publicist.
Yeah.
And they were like, and they still like were like thinking about it for a second, like, should I let them in? Like,
well, so
let us in.
We had to sign waivers and stuff before going in there because free alcohol is being provided and consumed. So you sign the waivers and the press stuff, and we go in. They only let Giddles and me in, and they blocked Trevor. So the guy sticks his arm out, and Trevor has to finish up on his iPad and makes him wait for the next group to come in.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's all because like I was like rushing too because I saw you guys go. I'm like, no, and I didn't hit like save, so it like started all over again.
Right.
Terrible.
Let's move over to the Funko stuff, and then a couple of more quick things, and then we'll move on to some real topics.
By the way, just real quick, first con for me, very interesting.
Oh yeah. How did you like? What was your experience as your first con?
My first con, I have to say, it's everything that I thought it was going to be from what you guys were telling me. But with like the cosplay was definitely on point. People went really into it, which I kind of knew, but some of the stuff I saw, Giddles taking the pictures, it was insane, the amount of time and effort that people put into it. Highly impressed by that. But he's right. There were a lot more, not as much interactive stuff as I thought there was. And because it was kind of scaled back in that way, the lines for the stuff that was interactive were super long. Yeah. So that was kind of disappointing, but it was jam-packed. Thursday, I figured people still got to work and everything, so it was kind of what I expected. But from Friday on, it was complete and utter madness.
It was a little different this year, where Thursday's crowd was really packed, and it shouldn't have been for a Thursday. Usually, Friday starts to get busier, and Saturday is wall-to-wall people. Where Sunday, the last day of the con, most of the major panels are done, and it's families. A lot of people bring their kids on Sunday because it's less people there, but more kids there. It was crowded, but it didn't really have an energy to it. Like usually everything's overcharged and just walking around the floor, you feel a lot of shit going on. And this year it just felt very low key, even though there was all these people. It didn't really feel like it was like really important to be there in certain times.
No, Sunday it was actually like really crowded this year compared to other years. Like this Sunday this year was nuts. But like you said, there was still no energy. It was just more people.
Right. Like a herd. There was always a herd moving around. Like everyone was just clustered together.
And we kept forgetting that Monday was Columbus Day, and kids have off from school for Columbus Day.
Makes sense.
So a lot more people were probably skipping Friday and taking 4-day weekend. So that's why Thursday was packed.
But I have to say, like, I go to the car show at the Javits Center, and I've been to the travel show for work. So, like, I've seen a lot of those things go down. And just people who walk around it and were trying the cars or looking at travel, they're just nasty people, and they're just nasty to each other. And for a bunch of people who are mixed in with a bunch of other people who are dressed in very, sexy or very overly large costume ways that can be very inconvenient for the normal person walking around, The fact that the most yelling and fights that I saw were between other vendors for crossing the line on their booths was amazing to me. I mean, I think the community that was there, I was most that's the thing that most impressed me was how all these people got along and there was no major problems. And the amount of artists and the amount of collectibles and all the things that are around, and there was no punching people out for other stuff, and everyone I was just surprised about how smoothly and how everyone got along. And if someone wanted to take a picture, there wasn't really someone saying, no, get away from me, or just everyone was happy to take a picture or take their time and spend it with it. I felt like it was a very joyous occasion. And then plus to see then one interactive thing, Giddles is now on a Yu-Gi-Oh card, was perfect too. He took the best pictures in every kind of.
Giddles knows how to pose the right way in the wrong situations.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Like a regular picture, I'm like, ugh. But a fun picture, oh yeah. I was the kid in school. They're like, all right, we're doing the goofy one. I'm like, I've been waiting all day for this one.
Did you post the Yu-Gi-Oh card photo?
Like actual cards. I didn't have a scanner, so I didn't want to just take a picture of it. So I'll try and take a picture.
Okay, yeah, post that up there too. We'll repost that. Once you do that.
I will say there was one booth that was interactive that couldn't get people to it, but was trying to get people to it. Do you remember that one?
Was trying to get to it.
The Mortal Engines one. Remember, we were sitting up in the press room. That was
weird. But all right, I wanted to go to that.
Yeah, me
but
too.
We had so many interviews to do. We couldn't get over there.
I was sitting up in that press room for like a good hour and a half or so. And I saw the guy giving the same shtick to everybody. Like, hey, you impressed? Do you want to come do this? Like, I don't know why, but it just seemed like he really needed people to come to his exhibit. He was really trying hard.
Mortal Engines was this big exhibit in the lobby area as you're coming in before you go to the main floor, where they have costume people ready to go. They dress you up in different costumes. They position you on this railing. And they record you, and then they work you into the movie trailer for Mortal Engines. And then you get a copy of it. They send it to you so that you're part of the movie trailer, which is a fun experience. And it wasn't just a green screen. They built this portion of the set that they were going to work into the movie there. What it is, it's a movie that's coming out December 14th. It's by Peter Jackson with Universal Pictures here. And I guess they were having a hard time getting people to come over and do it. But it just seemed like, didn't it show up on Sunday? Like, I don't remember seeing it the other 3 days.
It showed up, I think, like Friday or Saturday. Like, there was a weird delay because I was there the first day, and I remember it was just kind of roped off, and there was nothing there. And I was like, oh, I guess this isn't anything. And then the next day it was open. I'm like, oh, this is weird. This wasn't here yesterday. What was this? And yeah, I don't know. I mean, the movie actually sounds really interesting. Like, I kind of want to see it.
Yeah,
but that guy was trying so hard to get people and it was just he really wanted press people because he was waiting by the press area. He's like, you're press, you want to come do this? You're press, you want to come do this? I'm like, oof, calm down, buddy.
And it's not just Peter Jackson. It's a lot of the other producers and filmmakers and writer stuff from Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit series. They were all part of this there. From what I'm seeing from the blurb, it says Mortal Engines is an upcoming post-apocalyptic adventure.
So the premise 14th. Of Mortal Engines is there's the cities are the resources, and so the cities are now mobile and they're on wheels and they drive around and they hunt down other cities.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say like The Simpsons when they moved Springfield.
No. So it's like a city, like a skyscraper, on tank wheels, harpooning smaller buildings and then consuming them for resources type shit. It's kind of crazy.
That is crazy, but that is kind of something I would like to watch.
Right? That's what I'm saying. I really want to see it, but it just seemed weird the way that guy was trying.
You know what it reminds me of? Do you remember the little mini film? Do you remember the little mini film they had before Monty Python's The Meaning of Life, where the accountants were sailing a building? They had they're going through the city and they're attacking the bankers in the other like that, where the buildings are moving and attacking each other.
Every time I see a building that's under construction and it has the scaffolding down where it looks like the wings like that, I think of that scene all the time where they're loading up the file cabinets and launching them out and shit.
Yeah,
it's so good. I've been watching all the Monty Python while I'm cooking in my kitchen now that it's on Netflix.
Well, we'll talk about that in segment 2. But yes, I've been really excited about all the Monty Python stuff finally making its way over to the United States version of the Netflix. I know it's been Canada and everywhere else for from the beginning of the year, and now it's finally back here in the United States. But we'll get to that in season 2. A couple of things before with New York Comic Con, and then we can move on. Our buddies over at Spitfire Labs, which, by the way, I need to thank a lot of you, the listeners, who have been tweeting and posting their photos to Spitfire Labs, saying that they've heard about it here on the show and they enjoyed what they did, and they're buying things. One guy I saw, I think it was today or maybe yesterday, posted he bought the big controller that I have.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right,
that's awesome.
And he tagged them, and people are buying the game controllers. If you don't know what we're talking about, look up Spitfire Labs and look at the amazing artwork they do. They laser engrave unique pieces of wood into pop culture items. Like they'll recreate the Nintendo game controller, but the details within the controller are showing you levels of the game that it's representing.
It's like the connoisseur, like nerd toy you want to get. You know what I mean? It's not like a normal like action figure. Like this is a nice piece that you want to display on your wall that you want someone to come up and like stare at for like 10 minutes to like look at all the detail.
The DeLorean that they had from Back to the Future.
The 3-panel one?
The 3-panel one where the first panel was the first movie, the second panel was the second one, and the third was the third movie, was out of this mind. I mean, out of this world. Like my mind's still blown from it.
And the light up Thanos Infinity Gauntlet was insane.
Yeah, they're working with resin now, and they're wiring electricity through it so that they'll dye the resin so it's still smoky and it looks authentic. One of the unique properties they had for this year, which I had to buy, was they started making wooden VHS tapes.
Oh, yeah.
And they had Beetlejuice and they had Spaceballs. And I was really looking at Beetlejuice. I was like, I kind of want Beetlejuice, but I got to go with Mel Brooks, and I got Spaceballs.
Oh, that's great.
Isn't that awesome?
I was very happy about that.
You can't even rewind it.
Yeah. And look at the back here, too.
Oh, that's great.
All the details. It still has the tab in it, so you can record over the tape if you want. And
when will then be now?
In the back, it's engraved, when will then be now. This was a great purchase. This is the third or fourth item that I've gotten from them so far.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
And they all look great. Like every single piece is fucking awesome.
So I'm very happy to have that. So check them out, Spitfire Labs. Thank you to our pal Cameron over at Funko. When we went over to do the interview, we had a great time. They showed us a bunch of new great stuff. We did our shopping per usual, and as we were about to go do, I think, the interview, people were tapping Giddles on the shoulder and say, "Hey, buy this. I'll give you, I'll give you money for it." So it's like, and Giddles like, "Wait, we can't do that. One, that's in bad form. When they've been nice enough to invite us to do this stuff." But the guy was like only offering $20 more than what the thing was worth. And and we looked around, like, people are paying hundreds of dollars for this thing to the people walking off the line.
It's crazy. Like,
the secondary market doesn't even care. They're right in front of the ropes at Funko and saying, "Buy that, I'll give you $50, $100, whatever for it." And people are doing that. They're like, okay, they buy it, they turn around and hand it off, and they made all their money back from what they bought at Funko.
Well, we should explain why, too, because of the lottery that they had. Funko wanted to make sure that just not those people were the ones that were going to buy the stuff. The lottery that they had.
Yeah, but Funko's been doing that. Funko's been doing that lottery since the beginning of time. Yeah, so you can't just go up to the booth like any other exhibitor or something and purchase things, or a vendor. Sorry, you have to join. You have to go to their website. You have to look for the announcements. You have to enter for a lottery, and they had two things a day, right? Two lines, 2 sessions.
No, they had like 4 sessions a day.
Yeah,
really?
They were just mapped
it's like
out.
every like hour. It's like every like hour and a half or like 2 hours, dude. Like, they had sessions all day.
So they had 10 to. They were hour-long sessions each, so it was 10 to 11. Then we got stuck. Then there was always 2-hour increments in between each one. So it was weird because once that shelf was empty, if you didn't make that first session, you were done.
Yeah.
Because they would come out and restock, but then they would only restock whatever they have left
for the day,
for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So like, if you don't win that first like 9 a.m. lottery, if you're like in the towards the end of the day, like, you might not get anything, because it's very similar to that episode of The Simpsons where Homer waits online all night to get a baseball ticket, and he's second in line, and the first guy buys every single ticket. That's what it's like.
And then the booth shuts and says sold out. Yeah.
Yeah, but things are like out of control in the Funko world. And I will say this because there were, what was it, the Super Saiyan Dragon Ball Z figure that was like the shiny one that at the end of the first day,
the blue chrome one.
Yeah,
Blue
it was
Chrome
like
Vegeta.
Yeah, it was like $40 or $50 at the booth. The end of the first day, like I saw some people selling it for $1,300 on the floor.
Well, hold on. It wasn't $40 to $50 to purchase at Funko.
Yeah, it was.
It was like $15.
No, the blue one, it was the bigger one.
Oh,
it was
the
like
ape
the larger
thing.
size one. Yeah,
the
great
ape
one.
The great ape.
Oh, the great ape one. No, that was different. So I guess it was the smaller one then. So it was $15.
Smaller blue one is
whatever.
it was $15. And yeah, we were looking because people were going nuts for this thing, and I don't know the was it Dragon Ball Z or Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever the
it was Dragon Ball Z.
I don't know that world, and people going nuts for this thing, and we just like throughout the day, Gittles kept looking at eBay. He's like, I wonder what it's going for now. And he's like, oh, at one point, yeah, like Gittles said, it was over $1,000 for this figure. We're like, what is? They're going nuts, and they have no shame of doing it right in front of Funko. But Funko doesn't, and we've talked, in the past when we talked to Mark, he said they don't care. They put out their initial product, they make their sale, they make their money. What they do in the secondary market is none of their concern.
Yeah, whatever you want to do with your toy after you buy it, that's your thing. As long as we get our $15 first.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, they're making money hand over fist, and then the people who are reselling it are going to be making a ton of money. But like, honestly, if you can somehow win the lottery and get there on the first day and get like to the front of the line, you could buy enough toys and flip them within 2 hours to pay for the next 4 days of Comic-Con.
Now, I do want to preference that we're not suggesting you do that.
No, yeah, we're not suggesting.
We're not telling you to do that. We're
like,
just explaining what the culture is and what people are doing, because we wouldn't do that to our pals at Funko.
Yeah, no, we would never do that. No, this is like more of like a Beanie Baby like type thing where you're just like watching this happen in real time.
Yeah.
Like, and it's something you can't not talk about it because it happens. Like, there's a shady like garage alley right in front of the Funko booth where like all these like deals and trades go down, and you could just sit there and watch people like spending hundreds of dollars, for what someone literally just paid $10, $15 for, and it's kind of crazy.
It's very crazy indeed. Sorry about that.
Define crazy.
I think that's about it.
Too lazy to make play.
Is anybody we're not remembering to thank? Oh, our pal Brian Shea from Game Informer.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Was on the floor. He was in New York. It's a rare time that he's in New York, so we got to hang out with him for a little bit. If you want to hear that interview, go and download the show from wherever you get our show from. And
thank Big Kev for letting us use his booth.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you to Big Kev and to Matt OG for allowing that. Oh, and then what? Allison from the jewelry company that I've become a big fan of now. What is it called? Rock Love.
Yeah.
So I went over there and I talked with them and to check out what they were doing there. And she was there. She's the creator and the designer of everything, and she has Disney licenses. So if you have, significant others or kids or anybody that loves Disney, she's got a lot of great stuff there for you. People were going nuts for the Alice in Wonderland stuff, which is, a unique property in and of itself for Disney that people are specific collectors of just Alice in Wonderland. And I think they had like Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Nightmare Before Christmas, a whole bunch of stuff. So find them online, Rock Love on Instagram. If you buy anything from her, just tell her you heard about it on It's Erik Nagel, and then
they'll charge you double.
That would be a big solid if you could do that. Other than that, I think that pretty much covers New York Comic-Con. Download the shows, you can hear everything else. Yeah. Wanted to throw this out there from our pal Randy from NECA Toys. NECA was not present at New York Comic-Con this year. But over at NECA, they're doing this new thing where, NECA's one of their big distributors was Toys R Us, and Toys R Us has gone away. NECA, not too long ago, signed a deal with Target. So now they have their own display area in Target. And it's not in the toy area, it's in the electronics area, which is very good. And it's them and Funko next to each other have these big displays in the electronics area. I think they're mostly around the area where you're looking at DVDs and Blu-rays and what have you. So NECA launched this program called the NECA Target Ambassador Program, where you can, if you have a Target in your area, you can go and register on the NECA website. You go to NECAonline.com and you look through their blog for the NECA Target Ambassador Program posting. Or you can email, it is targetprogram@NECA, NECAonline.com, and you send them your information, the store information in your area, And if they select you to, it's sort of like the Adopt a Highway program, right? So you can adopt that,
Randy.
You can adopt that Target as your store. And what they do is you go in the beginning of every week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You take a photo of how all the shelves in the display look, and if it's a complete mess, they ask you to straighten it up and look nice. You can take a photo after you've straightened it up, and you submit it in there, and they're giving away tons of stuff. They're giving away weekly, monthly, and yearly prizes to these ambassadors who are willing to go and help them out and just kind of organize their NECA displays in your local Target. So I thought that was kind of cool to pass along to people if you're into that kind of thing. If you like collecting NECA
How much
properties,
does it pay? I could use some extra money.
Nothing. It pays you your weight in toys.
Ooh,
yes.
I'm heavy.
I don't know if that is entirely true, but
God damn it, Eric.
Yeah, go to the NECA website, NECAonline.com, and subscribe to that if that sounds like something that might be up your alley. That'd be a lot of fun. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to go through. There's so much that happened with TV and movies and video game stuff that we got to get through, and before we conclude today's fine quality program. Okay, we'll be right back. What are you doing?
I have tape on my face.
Okay, good.
It's Eric Nagel with Erik and Giddles. More next. It's Eric Nagel. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and Facebook at It's Eric Nagel.
Hello, chums. This is The Tick, and you're listening to It's Eric Nagel. Spoon. I'll say it one more time. Spoon. Spoon.
All right, first of all, Giddles ice cream was never offered to me, and it also sounds dirty when you say, Giddles, offer me your ice cream.
Yeah.
Welcome back to It's Eric Nagel, segment 2. Eric, Giddles, Trevor, looking at the box office from this past weekend, coming in at number 1. I don't think this was anybody's surprise, because this is the second week that it's been out, right? Venom?
Yeah.
Marvel's Venom. Not associated to Spider-Man. Figure that out. Number 2, A Star is Born. This is the third version of that movie over time. I'm hearing a lot of good things. Apparently, I'm a big Andrew Dice Clay fan. Apparently, he does very well in this movie. So I actually
crushed it.
You saw it?
I saw Venom and I saw A Star is Born.
Oh, we'll talk about that in just a second. Number 3 is First Man, coming in at $16.5 million. That's the Neil Armstrong movie, right?
I almost went and saw that yesterday, but then when I got to the movie theater, it was sold out, so I couldn't go. I was upset.
Number 4, Goosebumps 2, which is just more Jack Black gibberish, because he also has at number 8, The House with a Clock in Its Walls, and I think it's just the same movie. They just changed the children or something.
Yeah. They're like, the house with the goosebumps in the walls. Like, wait, what?
Yeah, and then one of them rips off Harry Potter to an extent. I guess that's how it was. And number 5 is Smallfoot. Who really cares? I don't know what that movie is.
That's the point of the movie. Who really cares about Smallfoot?
Exactly.
Smallfoot does, and he grows up to be a bigger foot.
That's actually, I'm not going to lie, that
a gangrenous foot that they wind up cutting off.
That's the premise of every kid's movie, goddammit. Every kid's movie is like, it doesn't matter if you're short and scrawny, you'll end up being on the team, and then the kid ends up being fucking king. It's like every kid's movie. You can write a kid's movie. It's like that Black Books, and they write a kid's book. It's easy.
And then they fast forward, and then you find out the kid died of some horrific disease. But at least he accomplished his goal before he went.
Yeah, he got the balloon. All right.
Trevor, you saw Venom? How was it?
Yes.
Meh.
It was meh.
Okay.
All right, so let's.
I heard
Venom.
good things. I heard Tom Hardy is really good
As an actor.
in the movie.
As an actor, Tom Harding is great.
You say Harding?
The ice cream got on my tongue again.
No, it didn't. You said
Yes, it
Harding.
did.
Go ahead.
There's a lot
Harding,
of caramel.
like your arteries. Go ahead.
You know what it is that Venom's supposed to be this badass creature, and Eddie Brock is supposed to be, this jacked up, muscle bound kind of badass guy that's always down on his luck. He's always trying to get ahead, and his life just falls apart. Now, it is the complete opposite in this movie. Eddie Brock has success, and they actually, in one instance, explain why he's not in New York with Spider-Man anymore. in one line saying, "Hey, remember you got ran out of New York because you were too good of a journalist?" He goes, "Oh yeah, that happened." Like literally, that was the line. He goes, "Oh yeah, that did happen." But so he's a successful person who pisses off the wrong person and loses everything, and ipso facto somehow gets involved with this the symbiote. But they're not badass. Like he turns into a complete and utter pussy. Like once he's down on his luck, he's consistently crying about it, and he misses his girlfriend, and wah. And then when Venom joins with him, and all of a sudden he has all the power, he's crying the whole time. He's like, "Yo, you killed that guy! Oh my god!" And then they also realize that him and Venom are alike, and they match so well because Venom on his planet is also a loser.
Yes, I heard that.
And that's why they're friends and perfect for each other, because they're both losers.
Just like Smallfoot.
All right, well, first of all, that's like the opposite, man. I just don't get it. Venom's supposed to be badass. You know,
Venom?
Venom.
He just comes to here. He just came to Earth and made jeans. That's denim.
He landed in Canada. No, it was like the opposite of everything that it should be. Like, what needed to happen to make this movie good was someone needed to be a fan of Venom and what he should have stood for. Like Ryan Reynolds did everything he possibly could for Deadpool and made it amazing. Someone should have done that with Venom. The PG-13 rating completely ruins it for this movie.
Oh, it was PG-13?
Yeah, it's PG-13.
I might have to see that.
I mean, I do like the fact that like they didn't make Venom look like Spider-Man.
He looks like Spider-Man.
No.
I mean, he's giant, but he still has the eye shapes just like the Spider-Man costume.
Yes, but you know how in the comic books, Spider-Man has a spider on his chest, so then Venom has that like white markings across his chest. He doesn't have that in this. He's basically just all pure black. And yeah, the eyes are the same, but the mouth, you see more teeth than just that like kind of weird smile that Spider-Man has. Like his teeth are consistently out. So I don't know. They made them both look like good guys by halfway through the movie, and they're not. They're supposed to be bad and like just treacherous, and they're not. Like halfway he's like, "I'm going to destroy this world." Wait, what did you say? And then the next scene 2 seconds later is like, "I'm going to live in this world forever." Ugh. Okay, yeah. So then like he has to stop his, for those who don't know, the universe, Riot is his leader of the pack when they land on Earth, so he has to go stop him. I mean, the effects and everything were badass. They were awesome. But just the whole story behind it is meh. And then, of course, like every Marvel movie, there's scenes after the credits. And when you find out, you know, they tease Carnage. And when you see who's playing Carnage.
Spoiler.
Well,
wait. Who's playing Carnage?
You just said spoiler. I'm not going to tell you.
No. You can tell me.
Okay, I'll tell you. So when they show Woody Harrelson playing Carnage,
oh geez,
and he has the worst carrot top wig on of all time. I mean, he looks more like Sideshow Bob.
Were they trying to make him look crazy, or were they trying to make him look young?
No, it was Woody Harrelson wearing a very clearly fake hairpiece.
Yeah, but
you're serious about the Woody Harrelson thing? I thought you were joking and you were gonna like say the real actor.
No, it's really Woody Harrelson. They're not making him try to look young, like current Woody Harrelson with a red carrot top wig.
It'd be great when he turns into Carnage and the voice is just Matthew McConaughey from True Detective.
That would be
awesome. All right.
And then, you know, everyone's stuck around because they all read online that there's a second scene at the end. I waited through the whole entire damn thing. And the second scene is for the animated Spider-Man movie that's coming out in 2 months.
Aw.
So I just say meh, because I was entertained with the explosions, the special effects, and everything that they went with it. But the whole entire idea of the movie fell super flat.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to go try to see it tomorrow, if not Saturday. I wanted to see it, but there's just been so much stuff going on that I didn't have a chance to go. I haven't been in the movies in a while, so I want to go and actually see Venom. You said you also saw *Star is Born*, which is the third version of that movie.
I saw it too.
The one where Homer and Lurleen Lumpkin go to the bar and he makes a country star out of her?
Right, and then she wants to bunk with him tonight.
Yeah, he doesn't get the message.
Go ahead, Trevor.
This movie is going to win so many awards that it's going to be disgusting.
Really?
Bradley
I've heard mixed things.
Bradley Cooper crushed it. Now, this is his first time directing. writing, producing. He also acted in it, and he sang in it. This is the first time he's on the #1 Billboard charts with this song. So not only is he an actor, now he's got a hit song. He put so much work into this that he said beforehand, like, if this movie fails, my career is essentially going to fail. And I always thought he was like exaggerating the whole entire time. But I see what he's saying, because normally he's that hangover role or the dude from Wedding Crashers, and he was really trying to slowly build up and get out of that. You saw him in Silver Linings Playbook, then he was American Sniper, so he was really trying to put those goofy roles behind him, and now he did A Star Is Born. If he doesn't win at least 2 to 3 Oscars, maybe even just at least director and screenplay, I would be shocked. I saw it, like I said, 2.5 weeks ago, and I'm still sad. I'm still sad about the ending. Like, I felt like something was wrong with me, the fact that like I was that emotional about it at the end, and like I still didn't cry because I'm a man.
Or I was cry, dude. I cry at every commercial I see.
You cried drinking whiskey. Shut up.
I'm crying right now.
Why do you just? Eric saw me drinking once.
Giddles, I sent you a spoiler for A Star Is Born, by the way.
Does it say A Star Is Burns?
Honestly, though, the amount of effort that went into it, Lady Gaga was insanely good, and Andrew Dice Clay was awesome.
I heard good things about Andrew.
I knew he was in it because of his Instagram. I didn't know up until that point, like the week before the movie, that's when he started posting a whole bunch of stuff. But it's so funny because like you think he's acting, but there's one point where he actually gets angry and like throws Bradley Cooper against the wall. And you could totally see like that his roots come out, like he's done that before, and it's just the Dice Man getting mad and throwing someone around. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
That's great.
So everything. There was not like one scene where I felt like it kept me involved the whole entire 2 hours and 15 minutes. Which, again, looking at it, I thought it was going to be a little long for the story, but it was awesome from beginning to end.
Can you imagine?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know the premise of this movie.
The premise of the movie is. There's a very successful country star, and he's just not happy with his life. He's consistently drinking. He's got a drug problem. He's got an alcohol problem, and he meets this girl who is an amazing singer, and he immediately falls in love with her voice. And she kind of brings him back to like what he loves about music, because she's so pure. Like, she hasn't been corrupted yet by music and the fame and everything about that. So he latches on to her. And she thinks, well, I'm never going to be good enough because I'm ugly. And people have always told me I'm ugly. And he says, you're beautiful. He brings her on stage. They become a big duo star. And then Hollywood tries to consume her and eventually does. And he spirals out of control.
Oh, jeez, I just said, what's the basic plot, not the whole movie?
But that's the thing. That's the first 15 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
First of all, it's the 4th time this movie's done. All right?
4th? I thought it was 3rd.
It's
because there was a musical.
Well,
in the
Star Is
70s.
Burns, and then there's the other 2.
Okay.
There was the Barbra Streisand one. There was one with Judy Garland. Then there was the original.
There was one with Judy Garland as well.
Was it Judy Garland? Maybe I'm wrong about that. There was this one. There was a 70s one. There was a 30s one, and then I think there was the original.
Yeah, this is. I'm looking at the one here. This one's from 1937.
Yeah.
This is the 4th one. So there was that one. Then there was the 1954 one starring Judy Garland and James Mason.
Oh, wow. That's right.
1976, Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson, which, by the way, a little tidbit on that movie, that role was supposed to go to Elvis.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Chris Christopherson was not supposed to have the lead role in there, but apparently the movie company had a problem with his manager, that Colonel Parker, and was demanding way too many things, I guess, without Elvis really knowing what was going on. And that movie was supposed to be designed for Elvis and Barbra Streisand, and they wound up recasting it with Chris Christopherson. And then you have this movie here with Lady Gaga. And,
so I'm really not
Bradley
giving
Cooper.
it away if it's the 4th time it's been done.
I thought it was 3, but look at that, it's 4. Plus, it had a musical in the 70s too. I kind of want to see it, but I think that movie, I'm going to wait for it to come on demand before I go and watch that.
Oh, I'm still sad.
Well, enjoy your ice cream and eat your feelings there. Movies, the new Halloween comes out this weekend, right?
Technically tonight.
I believe so.
But this weekend for everybody listening to the program here, this is the one where we had Danny McBride on the show not too long ago. Oh, actually, long ago, at least a year or so ago, where he came on to talk about the fact that he was coming on board to do the new Halloween. Doesn't it fit somewhere in the timeline? Isn't it like after the second one or something like that? After the second one, but before the Rob Zombie ones, or I forget, it fits somewhere in the timeline and then negates all the other ones.
I don't know. I kind of gave up on the Halloween movies after like the originals, and then I saw the Rob Zombie ones and they were okay, and I just don't care about the Halloween franchise, to be honest. And I love horror, but I just don't care.
Yeah, I watched the marathon today actually, and what I think it is, I think it's after number 3, where because Jamie Lee Curtis comes back. And she knows that he's never going to die. So she's going to be prepared to take him on, and this time she's going to take him out. And I know that premise kind of happened before, but this time she's like a grandmother instead of a mother. So
I will say the trailer looked a little intriguing, where he's just standing on like this top or this weird kind of courtyard, and he's just chained in the middle of nowhere. And these people will come up and they're talking to him, but they're standing behind him, and like, we think we have something you might be interested in. And the lady pulls out the mask from a bag, but just that shot in the trailer where it's kind of zooming down into this empty courtyard that's high security. He's just standing there with his arms chained out in a V direction. It was really weird, but I was intrigued by that shot. I don't know if I'm going to see this, though. This might be another thing I wait for it to come on demand.
I heard some early reviews said it's really boring.
Is it?
Really?
Oh, well. What can you do?
Oops, they made a stupid mistake.
I heard I have a lot of friends who like the Halloween franchise, so I'm probably going to wind up seeing it.
See, I never got into the Halloween franchise in the 80s growing up. I never got into the Hellraiser franchise, because a lot of these horror series started off pretty good, and then as the sequels kept coming, they got more and more ridiculous and stupid. Like one of the Hellraisers, wasn't he in space?
Wasn't Pinhead in space? It was Jason in space.
Jason 10, yeah, Jason in space.
I thought there was one of the Hellraiser things where Pinhead was in space too, but
there might have been.
Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, they all just got more ridiculous and campy as time went on. Like, it really wasn't as scary as their original movies in those franchises there. Well, if you want to go see that, it's opening up. Have fun with that. I know I had a problem with Movie Pass. I'll get to this real quick, and then we got to get to TV stuff. So, update with Movie Pass. So, before New York Comic Con, we didn't get a chance to talk about this, but they issued a statement saying that for people who were still... because remember, it was $10 a month, and you had unlimited movies, right? And then they scaled it back towards the middle end of the summer, somewhere in there, where that you only had 3 movies a month? Was that what it was? Right,
3 movies a month.
Now Gittles was kind of grandfathered into the old plan because he paid for a year in advance, right?
Well, I was, and then like about 2 or 3 weeks ago, that I was still on the unlimited plan, and then like 2 or 3 weeks ago, they're like, "Oh, you have to go onto the 3 movie plan," and I was like, "Well, it doesn't even matter if that is unlimited because you're not even giving me a choice of movies to see."
Right.
So what, I could see the same movie 1,000 times? Like, I'm not gonna go see that. Like,
so that became a problem, but then they got to the point where because I had the $10 a month thing and I stopped using it, but it didn't cancel. So they issued a thing to me saying that in order, because if you're paying monthly, they're going to bump you back up to the unlimited plan. So, okay, cool. So I went to go and use it at the beginning of the month, and as the app opens up, you get this screen cap here that says, your movie account. Your Movie Pass unlimited plan at $9.95 a month will be restored on Friday, October 5th. If you wish to opt out of this, please click the link below, and it had the opt out thing here to take you to get out of it. Well, October 5th comes and goes. I go and look at it again, and that screen is still there. There's no other feature to get you into the app to use it. You click the opt out link just to see where it goes, and it takes you to a page that's expired. So It's like, okay, I can't use the app at all. I go and I'm writing and complaining. I'm like, I can't even cancel the damn thing. I can't use the thing. What am I doing here? I better not be getting charged for this. So I tweet to the Movie Pass account and DM it, nothing. The support account they have, totally separate, DM it, nothing. I see an email come from Movie Pass with like, oh, this new stuff's coming, and I write to that email address with a big complaint saying I can't use this. I didn't, I can't even cancel. I can't opt out. I can't do anything here. What the fuck's going on? A couple days later, I get a response back. They're sorry that they're working on it. And I my big thing was I better not be paying for this.
Yeah.
Half the month is gone and I can't use the damn thing. So they showed me I wasn't being charged for it, that my account was being put back to unlimited, but because it's kind of like suspended right now. So they said, we're working on to get everything back, and I go and I check, I do a hashtag Movie Pass on Twitter. People had links to Reddit, so I went to the Movie Pass thing on Reddit, and I'm reading what people are writing, and a lot of these people are furious because you can't use the app. It comes to that one page. You can see everything moving behind it, like kind of blurry, but you can't access the app at all. So yeah. I'm livid, and I write another thing back to Movie Pass and say, this is unacceptable. I can't even tell. Yeah, I don't have that at all. And I said, I can't even tell if my account is still charging me. I don't know what's going on here. I want access, or I want this canceled. I don't want to be charged for this thing, and nobody's responding to me correctly. I'm getting kind of like half-assed answers. And I said, well, then I'm going to have to call my bank and tell them to put a freeze on this thing and refuse payment because you are not letting people cancel from their shit. So I get an email back from them with this whole big explanation thing, right? I'll jump to the point that's really important here, and that is that it says, thank you for your understanding, and we appreciate your loyalty with movie. Oh, a little bit further. Able to put your details on the priority list so that we can activate your account as soon as possible. But as a reminder, this might take too long, and your patience is highly appreciated. It doesn't make any sense. Then it goes, thank you for your understanding, and we appreciate your loyalty with Movie Pass. Now here's where I lost all my shit. We truly value your time, William. For future reference, you may visit this link. And I went,
William Nagel.
Oh my God. All they did was cut and paste somebody else's response and didn't even change my name in the thing there.
Sure, they didn't, William.
I screen cap it.
You go check your birth certificate. They legally changed your name instead of opting you out of Movie Pass.
Right. So I screen cap it. I highlight the offensive part, and I send it back to them. And I says to them, I said, how do you value my business when, one, I've never opted out of your service, I chose to stay, yet the account has been in suspension for at least 3 weeks, completely unusable. 2, I lost half the month of October that I better not be paying for. 3, you address me as someone else in the email here. We truly value your time, William, end quote. For future reference, you may visit our website. I wrote, this is absolutely unacceptable. I was going to stay, but your email has now crossed a line. I now want to cancel. I request an immediate answer addressing this horrendous situation. Sincerely me. They finally got back in touch with me in what looks like a panic. Because they wrote,
oh my God, we're so sorry, William.
Yeah. Oh my God, if they did it again, I would have to laugh at that point.
At that point, I'd be like, you know what? I'm resubscribing. You guys are great.
So
you're the moo pie of movies.
So yeah, he kept going. So they wrote back to me and they said, where is it? Oh, this is Giddles. Why? I'm not looking at his email. This is. I can't find it here, but pretty much the gist of the email was that we are so sorry, we apologize. Your cancellation has been effective immediately. You were not charged, and blah, blah, blah. Like, they were over apologetic in that email. So, according to them, my thing is canceled. I'm going to have to look a little bit later and to make sure that it's not still active and working. But this whole Movie Pass, which was a great idea, has just turned out to be a complete nightmare for a lot of people.
Well, they're being sued. They're being investigated right now by the New York Attorney General or whatever for stock fraud because people who are invested in the company are basically saying you had zero plan to turn a profit. You knew that there was no chance to turn a profit, and like our money is worth nothing now. And Movie Pass is like, you see the funny thing, and they just ran out the door. So it'll be interesting to see what comes from this, because like, I mean, I don't know, I'm still paid into that year-long plan, so maybe if there's a class action suit, I can get one of the 10 cents that everyone gets from it.
Maybe. I hope maybe I'll be named. It's like, if you were a member between this time period, I'm like, yes, I qualify.
And then they're like, they start reading off the names. They're like, William Nagel. You're like, God damn it.
Damn it. Damn you, Willie.
And you're like, that's actually me. And then you go up there, like, it says your name here is Erik.
William Erik Nagel.
Yeah.
It sounds very royal.
The third.
I guess we're running out of time for this week here. We didn't even get to some of the TV stuff, but Connors came back, handled the Roseanne situation. I don't think they did bad. It made sense
Sarah
where they're
Connor,
Sarah Connor showed up and destroyed the entire Connor family.
Holy shit!
Yes, it was the crossover everybody was waiting for. So Connor's back on ABC. They handled the Roseanne situation. I love John Goodman. I wanted to check everything out. I don't know where it goes past this point, or if it even survives past this point. But
huge ratings.
It didn't. It was nowhere near what the reboot season was.
I heard it got
It did okay, really, but it was not the level that the Roseanne show was at, and that's what it's being compared to.
I'm going to quote my friend Giddles. Who cares?
Correct. We're counting down the final episodes of Rick on The Walking Dead, if you're still watching that. Next week, I'll have to do my review of Doctor Who. We're 2 episodes in. I need maybe one more before I can really decide if I like this or not. She's not doing a bad job, is what I'll say as far as the female doctor. It was not what I expected, but it wasn't bad. I'll have a review on that later on. South Park, if you're not watching this season, I don't know what the hell you're doing, because it's amazing.
I don't know what I'm doing then, because I haven't watched it yet, but I will binge it.
Oh, it is so good. Every time they cut to when they would cut to scenery and it would go ding, 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 like that little transition music they have. Every time they cut to the school, you hear ding, 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 but gunshots matching it, because every time they cut to the school, there's always a school shooting going on.
I mean, you know what? Good on them. Like they're just picking on everything now. They don't give a shit. I feel like if they wanted to get fired, they wouldn't be able to. Like I feel like they're in a tough situation right now.
Yeah, they in one episode they kicked out Mr. Hankey for being. They just kept saying it's like, we hate that guy. He's just a big piece of shit. Yeah. And they kick him out, and then they're like, where will he go? And he goes, he'll go to some place where racism and something is tolerated. And then it cuts to Springfield.
Oh,
and Mr. Hankey shows up at Springfield, and they all kind of welcome him, and then it goes, poof, and has canceled The Simpsons.
Oh, that's great. I'll have to watch it.
It was a great episode. Daredevil Season 3 is coming up October 19th on Netflix. Also, some other Netflix stuff. Adam Sandler has a new special, comedy special. He's not doing movies, he's doing stand-up, called 100% Fresh. Comes out Tuesday, October 26th. Check
0% rating.
Check out Joe Rogan's Strange Times. It's really, really good.
Yes, it is.
Giddles, if you haven't watched that yet, go watch that special. He does an amazing job with that.
I started it and I couldn't finish it.
Okay, why? Just didn't care.
I just feel like I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna sound like a grump, but I feel like a lot of comedians, as they get older, if they don't like expand their shit, they just start sounding like the same thing, and I just get kind of annoyed at that. It's like Nine Inch Nails puts out a new album. It's like, dude, stop whining. Like you're like 60 now. Like, dude, what the fuck? I don't know. It's like,
well, they did a show in Brooklyn last night, and apparently it was really good.
Yeah, no, I wish I saw it, because they played all of Broken.
But you give it another chance. I think you'll enjoy what he's doing.
Because I liked his last one, Triggered. I thought that was good. I don't know.
BoJack Horseman, if you just discovered it on Comedy Central, there's 5 seasons of it on Netflix. I just finished the 5th season. Again, a great depressing watch for all to be had. What else do we got here? Monty Python, as Giddles mentioned earlier. Yep. They finally put all the movies, the Flying Circus series, and there's even a couple of specials about Monty Python that are now available. And I've been every night I just throw on the Flying Circus and I watch an episode or two, and I just look back at this and just go, this is just so amazing.
There's something about original Flying Circus, like the original before they did movies, where I watch it and I get like that giddy feeling that I got like the first, and I know like people are gonna like make fun of me for saying this, but like the first time I saw The State, because The State was like a good stand-up special, and I know that The State was basically just like doing what all these other originators did, but I had like that same feeling of like, this is different, you know, and it's like, this is really funny and these people get it. And I don't know, I really enjoyed watching all the Flying Circus because I never watched all of them in full. I only saw like the best bits and like the little things here. I missed all the little bits that people don't talk about, you know, because they're not as famous as the parrot bit and like all the other ones.
Right.
So it's nice to watch those.
Trevor, you Monty Python fan?
I love Monty Python. I think The Holy Grail is the best piece of cinema ever made.
If you haven't watched Life of Brian, you should give that another watch because I think that's kind of underrated as far as their movies go.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I actually should do
Life
that.
Life of Brian's pretty good.
It's really good. And I love Meaning of Life as well. You know, it's a bunch of different skits paced together as a movie, but I really enjoy what they did. Every sperm is sacred.
Wear a condom.
Because we are Protestant. I could wear a rubber on my cock. Well, lots to watch, lots to enjoy as far as movies and television go. We'll give reviews for other things next time. But by that music means we got to do the plugs. Let's go around the room. Giddles, what do you have?
Gittle Base on the Twitter, Instagram, and Xbox Live. And this Sunday, October 21st, I believe. Yes, that is the date. I am doing a casserole takedown in Brooklyn at the Royal Palms Shuffleboard Club.
Okay. Trevor?
So,
I'm sorry. I thought you cut Giddles off there.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. I apologize.
Yeah,
I thought he was done. Sorry. Go ahead, Giddles.
So that's it.
What are you making, or is that a secret?
It's a casserole takedown. I'm making a chicken and waffles casserole. So I got a Belgian waffle maker, and I'm making like a maple syrup gravy, and I'm gonna cover it all in there, and throw some fried chicken on top with some burnt, sweet, crispy waffle topping. So it should be pretty interesting.
That does sound pretty interesting. And
if I don't kill one person there, like it's not a good takedown.
You didn't do your job right.
Yeah.
Trevor, what do you have?
BTG Rocks on Xbox Live. BTG Trevor on Twitter. Also, Podcast Dummies. Twitch.tv/Podcast Dummies has been going fantastic so far. This week we had a whole show just on movies. My show is on there on Tuesday nights at 6. Next week we have a band live in studio. And then I'll be doing my show, like I said, every Tuesday at 6. So twitch.tv/Podcast Dummies and Podcast Dummies across every social media platform. And we're on YouTube now.
Why don't you plug our show as much as you plug Podcast Dummies?
Well, if you listen to Podcast Dummies, you realize that your show is constantly mentioned.
Okay, well, I'll have to listen to Podcast Dummies. No, I won't. Anyway.
Great.
Real quick, did you do the Fortnite updates? Because I haven't played in weeks. I know that we're in a new season, so I got to do that update. And
with Comic-Con and everything that's been going on with football season being in full swing, today was the first day that I turned it on in about 2.5 weeks. They now have quads that have like the Batman rocket on the back and a plow in the front. So take a quad, mix it with Mr. Plow and the Batmobile, and you can run over people now like it's Halo.
All right, that's awesome. And then we'll see if we lose any people because everyone's now flocking over to Black Ops 4 Call of Duty, which is out right now, which is doing the Battle Royale thing just like Fortnite and PUBG.
It's crushing it. It's absolutely crushing it.
All right. For me, it's E-Rock Radio across the board, but more importantly, the show, it's Erik Nagel across the board on social media. Like us on Facebook, follow our YouTube channel, get all the Comic-Con shows and interviews. If you haven't checked any of that stuff out, what are you doing? You're missing out on that. And 651-SMITHERS, 651-764-8437. Leave us a message when the show's not on, and we'll use it for a future broadcast. All right? I think that's it. Until the next time, everybody, be excellent to each other.
And have a wonderful time.
And we'll be seeing you.
It's Erik Nagel.
Alas, we're out of time.
Follow It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For ways to listen to the show, go to itseriknagel.com. And remember to tell 2 friends, so they can tell 2 friends. And those 2 friends can tell 2 friends. Well, you know what we mean.